He is British. He has decided to come invest in Nigeria's business sector. This week on Thriving Enterprise, meet Dixon, the CEO of an internet service provider, Cloud Cover.
My name is Dixon. I'm the CEO and the founder of Cloud Cover. We recently launched in Nigeria. I'm 37 years of age. I'm British. I have a beautiful French wife who lives with me in Paris, and I've been in Nigeria for 6 years now. I've loved my time here, and the money that I have earned while I've been here, I have decided to invest back into Nigeria. To try and address one of the challenges which I personally have faced alongside all my Nigerian brothers and sisters with regards to the communication. So Cloud Cover began as an idea maybe 2 years ago when I was on a flight from Lagos to Abuja with my business partner, and we were talking about what would be our billion-dollar idea. We'd just been looking at Uber actually, and just admiring how successful it was as a business. And my business partner said to me, we need an Uber idea. What would it be? I said, I don't know, And I was traveling a lot at the time. And my biggest challenge was connectivity, not just here in Nigeria, but all over the world. As soon as I landed in a new country, I had the same problem. Do I get a local SIM? Do I roam? What do I do? So I said, look, we need a device that connects to the best network, the strongest network, wherever you are in the world. So my partner was like, well, how are we going to do it? I said, I don't know. So then 6 months later, I was in a situation, in a meeting with some friends, and I overheard a conversation taking place about some technology, some Chinese technology, that sounded very similar to what I was trying to do. So we continued the discussions. I explained how I saw that technology working slightly differently to how they'd envisaged it working, and the conversations developed. I came back to Nigeria and we started putting the business together. And I think that what is symbolic about that process is, first of all, it's an entrepreneurial process. So you have an idea, and then 90% of it is your own thinking, and then 10% of it tends to be a bit of luck. You need to have that chance meeting, you have to have that one connection that ends up introducing you to the right people. And I think that really comes from always having your ears open, always listening out, always being aware of the opportunities that are around you. So we capitalised on that, and we worked very closely with those Chinese guys over the last 18 months, 2 years, and we Nigerianised a product that was designed to do something slightly different. And I think today what makes not just Nigeria but Africa really exciting is all of the innovation that is taking place here, all of the ideas, all of the magic that happens on a daily basis in all of these entrepreneurial minds. It encourages that innovation, and I think we're seeing huge amounts of product developments taking place here, where ideas that are slightly different from other parts of the world, and we're taking them in and we're saying, okay, how do we make them relevant? How do we add value to the infrastructure and to the needs of our society? So Cloud Cover is one of those stories.
His passion for Nigeria and its uniqueness attracts him. Nick itemizes on environmental, friendly and social well-being of his business operation. He believes change is constant and there is need as an entrepreneur to find solution to every challenge. Inspired by the entrepreneurial skills of Nigerians, he believes being positive and making the best use of every opportunity are important to make dreams of startups a reality.
So my operational experience of working in Nigeria is very unique. I think there's so many factors that make Nigeria unique, so many. Its size, the huge population, the challenges that are very unique, and the energy is very unique as well. You know, I think I've probably mentioned a couple of times already about the entrepreneurial spirit of Nigeria, which is hugely unique. You know, there isn't one person that I haven't met that isn't an entrepreneur in Nigeria. Everybody has that hunger to do something. There's this amazing creative spirit. So what makes cloud cover unique? Well, we're an internet service provider licensed by the NCC in Nigeria, just like I think 97 other companies. But what makes us unique to those other internet service providers is that our technology, this is our flagship device, it's a MiFi device, a mobile data device. And what makes it unique is that we don't have any infrastructure ourselves. So what the device does is the device searches for the strongest signal wherever you are in Nigeria. That's anywhere in Nigeria, by the way, across all 36 states plus Abuja. It searches for the strongest signal and it connects to that network via our cloud infrastructure, which is hosted in a local data center. And what that means is that when you're traveling around Nigeria, and that might be whether you're going from, you know, Kaduna to Port Harcourt, or whether you're going from Lekki to Ikoyi, you will find that the networks fluctuate in quality of service, quality of signal strength. So what this device does is it communicates with our infrastructure in the cloud and basically requests to be assigned virtually to a SIM card from the best network wherever you are, location-wise. And if for whatever reason that network's signal or your experience drops below what we consider to be an acceptable level, then the device searches again and then connects to the strongest available provider. So corporate social responsibility is very, very important to me. Well, not just to me, but to Cloud Cover in general. Having been here for 6 years, as I say, you know, I've become very attached to Nigeria. I'm very fond of Nigeria. It feels very much like home to me. I was very, very keen from the outset to make sure that we had a strong corporate social responsibility. So as soon as we started the project, long before any revenue started arriving, we started supporting an orphanage in Abuja called Arrows of God. We chose that orphanage for a couple of reasons. One, it was quite far out, so it was fairly inaccessible. And two, because they didn't seem to have enough sustainable giving taking place. So a lot of the challenges that I think take place from a corporate social responsibility perspective here is that giving can be seasonal or sporadic. So unfortunately the organisation finds it difficult to plan or to manage themselves on a day-to-day basis because they're not entirely sure what's coming in. So Cloud Cover's target market, well, a dream scenario is that everybody would be able to benefit from this technology. But currently, as with most new technology, unfortunately, the price tag means that it really is a service that initially is going to be aimed at high net worth individuals, corporates, anybody that can afford to pay a slight premium to be able to get the quality of service. Along the journey, there's been many challenges, and I think anyone who's an entrepreneur will be able to give you a huge list of challenges and how they found the solutions. I think change is a constant when you're on an entrepreneurial journey, and you've got to be very comfortable with that. A solution for change is understanding the need for it. You know, change is a constant factor, and the business that you design on day one is very, very rarely the business that you end up delivering to market. And that's because throughout the entire process, it's a learning process. So you make various assumptions on day one that, you know, you learn over the course of the projects that they were incorrect or they weren't quite how you thought they were. So there's a constant need to be able to find solutions to challenges. And the biggest challenge that you will face during this journey, and the biggest challenge that all entrepreneurs face, is you will go through many days where you wonder, am I doing the right thing? You know, is this really going to work out? And the challenge that you have to find the biggest solution for is finding the energy, keeping your morale going, and at those times when the challenges feel like you can't overcome them, is always staying calm, thinking, and making sure that you work with your team to find the solution, and then you get there. To any other young entrepreneurs who are thinking about doing their own projects, my best advice or best words of encouragement are, you know, if you believe that there's a space in the market and you've identified that there is a need for what you are trying to achieve, then you have to go for it. And you have to stay positive, but not be disillusional. For example, a kid who can't sing and he wants to be a pop star, at some stage he has to accept that he can't sing and he's not going to be a pop star, no matter how much he wants to be a pop star. I think the same theory applies when you're an entrepreneur. You can have a great idea, but if there's no space for it in the market, then nobody is necessarily going to buy it, and therefore you don't have a business. So the first word of advice is to be honest with yourself and to listen. You have to listen to those that are around you, the people who know what they're doing. Try and seek advice from people who are experts in that space. Try and find people who have a kind heart, who are prepared to make the time to give you some advice. The internet in Africa, Nigeria, the world, I think the direction of the internet is very interesting. You know, we've gone from internet being a luxury item, something that I remember I didn't even think about when I was at school, which isn't that long ago, despite what you might think. And now everything relies on mobile data, everything, our banking, you know, our communication, our emails, we're WhatsApping, we're sending photos constantly, we're capturing our life on this mini film studio that we carry around with us all day long, and we're keen to share everything. You know, we know more than ever before about what's going on around the world, and the thirst to be engaged and connected is just more and more. In fact, the United Nations even said not so long ago that access to the internet should be a basic human right, which puts the internet alongside food and shelter and clothing, which is quite bizarre that something that wasn't even here not so long ago all of a sudden becomes that level of necessity. So where do I think it's going? Well, it's not necessarily where I think it's going, but really where it has to go, which is that in the same way that music in many ways became free not so long ago, you know, I believe that data, the whole business model that we see is going to change. So I think you're going to have infrastructure guys who are there to make sure that the signal is available. And then I think you're going to have guys who monetize that infrastructure, like me, for example, like Cloud Cover, who find ways to take data and create a revenue stream which ultimately pays for the infrastructure. And that will happen in so many different ways. And I think that soon we'll be forgetting all about gigabytes and kilobytes and megabytes and terabytes. I think that you'll be paying for data in different ways, so via transactions. And Obviously, we're now talking about the Internet of Things, IoT. You know, we're already looking at how our homes, how our cars. So any entrepreneur will tell you that there are huge sacrifices that have to be made along the journey. It's almost impossible for there not to be sacrifices, because as an entrepreneur, your business very easily becomes your life. And therefore you have an emotional attachment to it, which is very different in many ways to the flexibility of being an employee. You know, you set out on a journey where you expect to invest this amount of money, and 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, things don't go quite how you plan them to go, and you end up having to invest even more money, which in that instance will stretch you financially, which again causes pressure at home. You sacrifice time with your family, which, you know, you might miss, you know, significant occasions in their life because you have something crucial that is happening with your business. And the business is like a child, it's like a small baby. You know, in those early days, it needs nurturing, it needs your attention, it needs your focus. And obviously, the more you give your focus and attention to your business, the more you take away that focus and attention from the people who are important in your life. So it's very, very important that you always ensure that there's balance. You always have to try and maintain that, because ultimately the priority you know, is always going to be your loved ones over your business. And it's very important that any sacrifice that you make, you're quick to balance it out.
After establishing cloud cover in Nigeria, he tends to make it accessible to everyone around the world, both individuals and corporate sectors.
So the dreams that I have for cloud cover are that we will be a sub-Saharan African mobile data network within 3 years, and that we'll be providing data across the whole of Africa, so that as we commute cross-border, that you'll always have connectivity. Obviously, we're very lucky to be able to already offer connectivity globally, outside of Africa, in Asia and Europe and across the Americas. And we do have data across the main countries in Africa, but my dream is to be able to offer connectivity across the whole of Africa. And also for cloud cover technology to assist in other areas of innovation. So people who are achieving, who have amazing inventions that rely on connectivity, that cloud cover's basic principle of the technology will enhance and develop and really help all of this innovation that's taking place come to fruition. So if I wasn't doing cloud cover, what would I be doing? Well, my primary would be that I'd be at home with my beautiful wife. That would obviously be the first thing that I would want to be doing. But if I wasn't doing cloud cover, I don't know, I'd love to be a musician, I think. I would work a lot more on my music. I don't know, who knows where that goes. But I think as an entrepreneur, you're always open to any new ideas. And yeah, I mean, let's see where we are in 3 years.
Junior. I work with Cloud Cover Nigeria as the branding officer. So Cloud Cover is a modern internet service provider with the revolutionary virtual SIM technology that allows you to have internet access wherever you are in Nigeria, across the 36 states including Abuja, and also in over 100 countries worldwide. So we have a device that switches automatically to the strongest signal, the network with the strongest signal wherever you are across these locations. So one of the advantages of using cloud cover is that you don't need to carry multiple SIM cards, for instance. You don't need to have multiple modems. You just have one device that gives you all the access across 7 data providers in Nigeria. So you have MTN, you have Glo, you have 9 Mobile, you have Spectranet, and a host of others on the device. So you don't need multiple devices, you don't need multiple SIM cards. One device, the 61, and you have all the internet access that you need.